So he says, Kalam nayethaha sati karma bandhe. If you feel you have a family, 2 or 3 children, grandchildren, etc., and you are tired, when they grow up, they behave in a strange manner, the trustworthiness that you had developed about your children, it is not being honored, etc., etc. Okay, carry on. Passage of time. You can demand from God whatever you want. You can insist upon Him. Never be a meek lover and a submissive person before God. Be very aggressive. My dear God, this is not my world, your world. My body is not my body. Either you resign your position and make me God, or you listen to me and fulfill my requirement. And keep your requirement modest. See, you have to demand. Why not? He has to oblige us. He has to oblige us. Otherwise he is useless. Useless. I will go and tell everybody this God is useless. He must oblige us. Why should you not? Think in this manner every time. Kalam nayethaha sadi karma bandhe. Let there be anything. Let there be anything. Let there be anything. Ma intermittently tells me, Swamiji, your ashram is growing, activities are growing, but we want some more people in the ashram to be inmates. Why don't you think about it? I say, why don't you think about it? Thinking alone is my job. Let her think. Let her also think. I authorize you and give you a blank certificate. On my behalf, you start thinking. Now, when I start looking into it, I cannot complain that I don't have people. I have one feeling that whoever are there, they are not behaving properly. Swamiji was telling me, we have a few bureaus inside. He was looking for the key. No key is there. Duplicates also are not available. And whatever key is there, they have mismatched it, used it, bent it, and everything is wrong. After all, maybe 5 or 6 bureaus are there. Cannot the people who use the bureaus look after the keys? But the fact remains they have not done. So do we want more people to misbehave like this? When there is a need, automatically there will be a fulfillment. The law I know about God is, before you speak, I hear. Before you knock, I open. Before you think, I understand. This is what I know. So what I want to say is, nature has imbued you with a mind, with a consciousness. And this consciousness has got infinite potential. You use only a very small part of it. We don't want much. We don't want to create a world. We have to live in this world beautifully, joyously, comfortably, benevolently, helpfully, not harming anybody. This is all our requirement. That much you can demand, you can have. See, I want to tell you something spiritually. The more and more you go nearer spirituality, you will find the earlier impressions have to be altered. See, the moon appears to be a beautiful round orb, brilliant. When you go to the moon, will it be so? Similarly, when you go nearer and nearer spirituality, ideas will have to be changed. So I am giving you a very supreme statement. We say something called the mind. In reality, there is no mind at all. Consciousness alone is there. This consciousness behaves like a mind. That is, behaves in the manner you know about it. That is, it feels that you are there, I am there, things are different, and so many things. Dvitva ekatva drishau chittam tadeva jnanam uchyade. We have words like people are suffering from ignorance, suffering from delusion. What is this ignorance? What is this delusion? We are suffering from ignorance. What is this ignorance? Delusion. What is this delusion? He says, Dvitva egatva drishau chittam. The mind is that state of the consciousness when it starts feeling one as different from two. What? One as different from two. One as different from two. How many airs are there? But in every one of you there is air. If you start thinking the air in me is different from the air in another, is it right? But in a way it is different also. Because it is in your body, in the others' bodies. So in that way, as encased air, the air makes a difference. That is why we are told, don't go near a person who is infectious, because he will breathe and you will get it. So actually, Dvitva Ekatva Drishau Chittam. This is what Vasishtha tells towards the end of Yoga Vasishtha Ramayana. The divisional views, the divisional point of view, divided views, Dvitva and Ekatva, there are two and there is one. This kind of a feeling and debate, as long as they prevail, that is called the mind. That is called the mind. Tadeva ajnana muchyade. That is called ignorance. Ignorance is not a shunya, but it is a distorted understanding. Am I clear? The distorted understanding is the mind. Edayor yo leyo drishtyoho. Drishtyoho means dual number. So these two drishtis, these two visions, edayor yo leyo, when you are able to dissolve them in your mind, tat jnanam, that is the real wisdom. Sa para gatihi, that is the supreme abode that you have to reach. So ultimately, even mind is a misnomer. That distorted understanding is the mind. Our mind is capable of understanding things properly, but at present it is distorted. So the distortedness is the mind. The clarity is the wisdom. Tat jnanam sa paragatihi. Now he goes on to say, Pramado brahmanishtayam na kartavyah kadahajana pramado mrityurityaha bhagavan brahmanasudaha. Pramado brahmanishtayam Pramado brahmanishtayam na kartavya kadachana na kartavya kadachana. Pramado mrityurityaha Pramado mrityurityaha Bhagavan brahmanasudaha Bhagavan brahmanasudaha. Pramadaha brahmanishtayam na kartavyaha kadachana pramadaha mrityuhu iti aha mrityurityaha Bhagavan brahmanaha Bhagavan brahmanaha sutaha. After having said so much, what shall we do in order to understand, realize, experience and float in this ecstatic realization? You must be attentive. What? Attentive. But generally what happens is inattention. 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 We are not attentive. See, throughout the day when you wake up, you continue to be active and interactive. You are interactive with what? With things seemingly separate from you. At no point of time you take a look into the interacting subject within your body. This subject is originating interactions, sustaining interactions, and terminating them. Though the mind is thus the source, the sustenance, and the dissolver of everything that you do you ever spend any time to look at the mind? Why are you keeping quiet?
Yes.
It is a question I am asking you. Maybe some of you do look at, I want every one of you to do it, but you are not doing. See, have you ever thought where from the activities proceed? Where are they sustaining or subsisting on? And where do they finally terminate to remain experience, knowledge and memory? See, I wake up and the universe spreads forth before my eyes. Say, just like a torch and the beam, an umbrella which is open. So the whole thing is a spreading forth from within me. So the entire universe is resting on me. You have no regard for the inner presence. Every time you are discussing and debating upon only the external entities. Never have you thought about your own inner glory. The source of everything. The source of everything. Tell me, how many people have thought about it? Is it not sheer inattention? Pramadaha. Having been born a man, a human, carrying the mind and the intelligence with us, we never care to know from where activities and interactions proceed. Where are they registered? How is the experience caused? Where? What? How does it become knowledge? How does it become memory? Where am I carrying it? Is there any growth from outside to inside, or all things grow from inside? Who made my eyes? Who made my body? Have we ever thought about it? This is called inattention, inattention, inattention. You are interacting with the glories of your own inner presence. But half an hour, why don't you close your eyes after closing the door and remain, communing with your own thoughts, communing with your own mind. If possible, commune with the mind's own source. The source of my wakefulness, the source of my dream, the source of my sleep. Sleep tells me very clearly that I am not the body. Dream shows me very clearly the power of my presence inside. And the wakefulness I find, this dream power becoming explicit in the physical world. See, we have no regard for what is inside the body. Why don't you commune with your own inner presence, for a while. We have got Gayatri Japa. What is this Gayatri Japa? Tat savituhu varenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo naf prachodayat. We are worshipping that adorable presence. May it enlighten and guide our intellects. This is the simple Gayatri prayer. Why don't you do it early in the morning? Let the manager do it, let the industrialist do it, let the gambler do it, let the parliamentarian do it, let the minister do it, the doctor and the surgeon, let everybody do it. Where from are you going to get inspiration? Presence of mind. Is it presence of mind or presence of world? What is it that you want? You want presence of mind. So go to the mind, go to the mind, go to the mind. Live there for a while. Commune with your thoughts. You are not doing it. That is why the whole trouble. So pramadaha, inattention. Not paying the emphasis to where it is due. Brahmanishtayam na kartavyah kadachana. The moment you become a seeker of truth, a seeker of Brahman, and you take up Brahmanishta, many people have taken Diksha from me. After taking Diksha, now I have started distributing a sheet of paper before Diksha and another message after Diksha, saying that this Diksha is meant for such people. It is the last item in human life. You don't require anything beyond that. But after taking Diksha, be true to it. Sit. I only ask them to sit closing the door. At least 30-40 minutes you sit. Everybody will take Diksha and never sit. See, it's such a sublime occasion that they come with me. I spend 3 days sitting with them. Such a sublime thing. Their father would not have done it. I don't think even the married partner would do it. Nobody would do it. I take them to the soundproof room, meditation room, and sit there, invoking the best of spiritual infusion for them. And then I say, commune yourself with the inside. Try to find out the source of the thought process. Go there, find it out. This is what I always say. But they will not do it. See, to have efficiency, what is efficiency? Is it an epithet of your nose and eyes and hands? Or efficiency is a quality of your inner personality? Boliye na kholkar. If efficiency is a quality of your inner personality, I shall tell you a few words. You must be steadfast, you must be honest, you must have integrity, you must be able to strive, you must persevere, you must be dedicated, you must be exclusive, you must have fidelity, you must have concentricness. All these words, are they indicating the qualities of the body or qualities of the mind? If you want your mind to be qualitative, why don't you spend some time thinking about the quality? Mentally you think, I must be sharp, I must be intelligent, I must be sharp, I must be intelligent, I must be sharp, I must be intelligent, I must be skillful, I must be sensitive, I must persevere. What the mind thinks, that it becomes. What the mind thinks, that it becomes. You think. Similarly, you can say, I am rich, I want to be rich. You will become rich. I want to have a heap of apples. You will have a heap of apples. Why don't you do it? You are physically striving, I know, but mentally also strive. A thought has come to me. I was speaking about it to Nuthan Swamiji. I think I also spoke to Mom. See, I feel in the next year, I would like to do something. What is that? I would like to have a scheme set up, a procedure set up for getting hold of all people soon after their professional education or academic education. They are going to enter into a field of profession. But before entering or soon after entering, I would like to have all of them, and they should be given an exposure about this great culture of our land. I would like to have an institute, and it should be of a world-class type, prestigious, where people would be mad to come. That kind of an institute I would like to have. First of all, I must have somebody who is capable of thinking in such a dimension, and some people who can be trustworthy. A good committee should be formed, at least consisting of 3 people, to whom this care will be given. And let us be prepared to launch. See, we don't have much money and we cannot have also. Let us at least spend something like 1 crore of rupees only to pay salaries for the professionals. We will start it in some rented place. We will not look for land. All that, if it is good, let it come. Another feeling I have is, I would like to have a Sanskrit township. What? A Sanskrit township. Something like 1 lakh, one set of people say 1 lakh people in India speak Sanskrit. Another group says 5 lakhs. Whatever it may be, let us have something like 1500 or 5000 squares of land in a safe place in India. And let us encourage all these people to go and live there. And in order to encourage them to go and stay, whatever embellishments are necessary in that place should be done. And it should be something top class in the world. I am not for inferior things. If you ask me, Swamiji, are you interested in teaching poor children? No, please do it somebody else. I am interested in catching hold of the best and the super best. And they will occupy different positions in our country. Only then the country will improve. We want to have a change in the whole system. Let people understand that the external is not everything. The internal has cost and is sustaining everything. Knowledge is superior to gold in this world. Knowledge, 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 knowledge. It is for knowledge that I left everything else in this world. And I am very, very happy. I am happier than all the richest people in this world. Years back I read in Reader's Digest, one page, the richest people in this world, 10 of them were listed. With a footnote, all of them committed suicide. A fact of the world? What do you say? So let us spend 1 crore or 1.5 crores of rupees in order to organize this kind of a training program where we want only adults. These adults should be invited, and it can be a 1-month course, 2-month course or 3-month course. It all, I am very viable about it, flexible. And then after exposing and telling them, my dear children, this is the country that you belong to. This is the culture that you have inherited. Don't close your eyes. Be not blind. And we should speak to them in an aggressive manner. What? In a manner that no intelligent man will be able to flout or refute. Whatever I say, none in this world can refute. Lord Krishna cannot refute. Shiva cannot refute. I challenge everybody, please come. Correct me if you can. There is nothing to be corrected. What is this? I don't understand. 56 years I have been speaking about it. And I have been speaking about it, not appointed by anybody, nominated by anybody. People asked me to speak, I started speaking, so they made me a speaker. This inattention, not knowing that you have a treasure within your body. Your mind is the treasure. It is superior to earth, superior to water, superior to air, superior to fire, superior to space. This external space is inert and insentient. The internal mind that you have is the sentient space. Sentient? Space. So, pramadaha, this Brahmanishta, pramada should not be there. Pramado mrityurityaha. This inattention is virtually death, suicide. You have no excuse for your idleness. Alasya is the Shatru of man. The first sloka I teach children when they come to the ashram is Alasyo hi manushyanam sharirastho maharibuhu nasti udyama samo bandhuhu krutvayam navasidadi. Alasyo hi manushyanam sharirastho maharibuhu. Alasya, idleness, lethargy, is the greatest Shatru, enemy of man, and that is seated within your body. If alasya is seated within the body, what is going to be your friend? Nasti udyama samo bandhu. Your bandhu, your friend is udyama. Udyama means parishrama. Endeavor, striving, perseverance. That is your friend. Krutvayam navasidadi. Court his friendship, make him your friend. You will never suffer in this world. You will never suffer in this world. So this inattention is the Shatru that we have. It causes death. Bhagavan Brahmana Sudaha. Sanat Kumara in his conversation with Dhritarashtra. Very specially he said, Pramadam vai mrityumaham bravimi. I say that pramada, inattention, is really death. Never be a prey to it. Na pramadat anarthonyo jnaninaha swaswarupataha tado mohas tado hamdhihi tado bandhas tado vyatha.